All right. This is the 129th episode of Downtime. I'm here with the two brothers, Jeremy and Jordan.
Two brothers.
Hello.
And I'm back on the podcast.
Yeah, we have Alyssa back.
Hey.
Wow, what a time to be alive, y'all. What a time to be alive.
Sure. Yeah.
Let's go with that.
That's one way to put it.
That's one way to put it.
So COVID-19. COVID-19, y'all. Thoughts?
That's an official name?
Yes.
Okay, because I've only heard coronavirus because the virus itself is shaped like a crown.
Right.
And then I heard Wuhan virus because it originates in the city of Wuhan, China.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know about COVID-19. It sounds like a cult, actually.
It sounds like a K-pop group.
Yeah. Yeah. Like what's that one?
NCT 127.
NCT 127.
You know about
that
them,
sounds
Alyssa?
like a virus. Is that a virus?
I don't listen to them because they're a pretty new group. But I'm aware of them. I want to say they're like Super Junior.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Literally junior to super junior.
Yes, pretty much.
So Jordan and I were watching the Macy's Day Thanksgiving Parade last year, and we saw them. They were in the parade for some reason.
No, it's because the thing with K-pop right now is BTS, Bangtan Sonyeondan, basically proved to the world that hey, we can have a global following. So a lot of K-pop groups are trying to have a global following as well, which one of them being NCT 127.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that's why they were performing at the Macy's Thanksgiving Parade.
When we saw their name, we thought it was a police code.
we got a NCT 127 on the
It's a bunch of Korean guys around here.
It sounds like it.
Yeah, that sounds kind of.
It does sound like it. Yeah.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
The one that I'm waiting for is a popular K-pop girl group, and it should have been Blackpink, but I don't know what Blackpink is doing right now aside from modeling. Like straight up, like in 20, I want to say it was 2019. They had this 2018. They had this song called "Doo Doo Doo Doo," and it was like such a good song. And I thought that they were gonna blow up, and they did not blow up. And I'm just like, what's going on? Like they're
at Coachella. They were at Coachella last year.
They were at Coachella performing that song, but then they didn't have a new song after that. You know what I mean? Like they didn't come out with any new music last year.
They were riding on that song. They're like, this is gonna take us to the top, and I guess it didn't.
It didn't. Well, they came out with like 2 songs in March, and then that was it. Like they didn't have anything else for the rest of the year, and it killed the hype.
Yeah.
So I that was the one I thought was gonna be the next big girl group, but it didn't happen.
Everyone thought that.
Yeah.
It was either that or Twice. Maybe not Twice.
So Twice definitely doesn't care about being global. Like Twice is one of those groups where I feel like it's kind of like BTS, where BTS became popular, but they were never actively trying to be globally popular. It just happened.
I see.
I think Twice is going to be like that, potentially. Because Blackpink is trying to be global, but they're only modeling right now. They're not even coming out with music.
Oh, man. What?
Yeah. I hope they come out with music, because I like their singer a lot. They have their lead singer is really good. It's more of a company thing. Like I don't know how their company's managing them, but...
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, there's a bunch of K-pop groups performing at Coachella, and people are debating whether or not Coachella will be canceled because...
But my question is, they're debating it's canceled because K-pop groups are coming. It's not just like, oh, we should worry about everyone's safety.
No,
it has to just do with the fact that K-pop groups are coming.
No, that's not the reason. I just was stating that there's South Korean groups coming, and
oh yeah,
I was worried about
South Korean's already on like
it's
level
like a 2 or 3 or one of those.
Yeah,
it's up there. But a bunch of people in one area, that's the main concern.
Yes,
because you don't know who's infected or not. So that's why people are like, oh, should we cancel it? Then there's a group that's like, no, let's not cancel it. I have a buddy who's like, he bought tickets. He goes to Coachella like every year, and this is the only year where he's not going.
As long as you get a refund, it's all that matters. I think it's a very reasonable reason too.
Yeah, no, totally. So I mean, just be safe. Wash your hands. I don't know if they're gonna continue the event or not.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
I mean, people wear face masks all the time at Coachella anyways.
Sure,
that's true.
To be fair.
Yeah.
probably for different reasons, but you know,
But
Yeah.
It can be multi-purpose.
It can be multi-purpose.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
yeah. But not just Coachella, but in San Francisco, GDC, the Game Developer Conference, has officially been postponed because of coronavirus. But also, in the last 2 weeks, so many companies pulled out of it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. Like, I feel like the coronavirus, it's had like a lot of not unintended because no one intended the coronavirus, but it's had a lot of effects on the gaming industry because there's that whole like a lot of the manufacturing is done in China and a lot of that's been put on hold. So there's like all these people don't think that a virus like this would affect the gaming industry, but it definitely is.
Yeah.
Yeah, weird to think about.
It is really weird to think about. And just a lot of game developers, of course, come from Asia, and they're pulling out because their countries are in code reds or on different levels of safety.
Yeah.
And to be fair, in the Bay Area, a lot of cases are starting to pop up because so it's crazy. A cruise ship just docked near Vallejo in the North Bay, and then all of a sudden, like, all of these cases started popping up
Because the whole boat was infected.
Yeah.
Or something. Someone on the boat was infected.
It's pretty concerning.
Yeah.
And by the way, the boat was not supposed to dock in the Bay Area, like where
Yeah.
it docked either. It was an emergency dock, and all of a sudden, all of these cases started popping up.
They just quarantined everyone. Imagine being on that boat. That would suck.
Wasn't there a cruise ship in, I think it was Japan?
Australia. It was in Australia.
Oh,
yeah.
And they quarantined everyone, and then
Yeah.
it got worse because everyone was just trapped.
Yeah.
I think the idea was like there was a few people on the ship that had the virus, and so they quarantined the ship. But what ended up happening was everyone on the ship ended up getting the virus.
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
Oh my
it just, like,
god.
made it worse.
Yeah.
It
They
just made it
contained
worse.
it, but like they contained it, you know?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Which is really frightening.
Yeah. I would never want to be on that cruise ship.
I would never be.
Now I don't want to go on a cruise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You never know.
It's scary. It's just a big metal box that you're trapped in on the sea.
Yep.
It's are you two still going to Japan?
So speaking of that, yeah, we're still going to Japan. Tomorrow we're going to exchange our currency.
Hey, shout out.
Listen, no coronavirus is going to stop us.
That's fair.
I've been getting a lot of reports from my friends about the condition over there. A lot of them are like, yeah, it's just business as usual. The government's just freaking out. And they're saying the plus side is there's less tourists.
Do you think
That's
it's
true.
do you think that I feel like tourism is going to take a huge hit
Absolutely.
everywhere.
But it's good for us because there's no people. We can see all the things.
Yeah,
I was about to say I want to take advantage of that, like
Hell yeah.
come around like in the summer when like
Yep. Honestly, if you're planning to go to anywhere, like the plane tickets are really cheap right now.
Yeah,
I believe
like-
Lisa, look into it.
I heard tickets to Hawaii are really low
They're like
right now.
$99.
Yeah. And I was like, I've
Yeah.
never seen it that low. I
Yeah,
was
like what the
'cause
heck?
no one's traveling.
Yeah, no one wants to go anywhere.
So-
People are risking it.
So what I've heard, because I have a friend who I recently met up with who was in the Philippines, and she was talking about how she traveled around Asia, but she
Yeah.
was recently in the Philippines, and then she came back for a little bit, and she was talking about how the coronavirus is like, as a virus, it's not as bad as people are making it sound.
Oh, I completely agree
Like,
with
don't
that.
don't get me wrong, it's
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
Like, it's a virus, obviously, but you're not gonna die from it unless you have an already weakened immune system, or
Yes.
you're elderly, or like you're very vulnerable. Like the average person is not gonna die. Like, obviously you don't want to get it. It's gonna be like having the flu.
100%.
But people are making it sound like it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
And I had another friend of mine was talking about how she went to Costco and people are just stocking up on supplies
Oh, I
like it's
know,
the world is
right?
ending.
That doesn't make
It's
any
just
sense
like,
to me.
It's not the apocalypse.
Yeah.
It's just the flu. It's not even the Black Plague. It's like
Yeah.
it's not
ju-
wiping out entire civilizations.
It really is equivalent to a flu.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
It's just a mass flu.
Yeah.
And I don't know why people are stocking up on toilet paper. It's like, okay,
I know.
Yeah, or like water. It's like, sure, it's nice to have lots of water, but
the flu's not
you
going to go
don't-
into the
you don't-
water.
You don't need to act
Yeah.
like it's like the world
Yeah.
is ending. I don't know.
Yeah, just follow regular precautions. Everything, like, we're probably gonna have a vaccine in a month or so. So
Sure.
just, stay posted, but do very reasonable things like washing your hands
Yep.
and washing your hands. Just if you're sick, then stay at home and don't go to work is
Yeah.
one of the biggest things.
Yeah,
but
or school.
if you have
Yeah.
hand sanitizer, bring it, use it. It doesn't matter if it's the portable one, if it's the one with the little squirty handle, like bring it, use it, share it with people. Don't touch your face. Don't touch, any part of your body that is susceptible to be, giving you a disease.
Yeah.
Because if you're touching those public transportation handles, then, there's a chance there's something on there, so you want to wash your hands or use hand sanitizer.
Yep.
And follow the CDC website because it has the most up-to-date information. Don't read Reuters, don't read Newsweek. Follow the place, follow the source, and the CDC is the source. Mm-hmm. I think people are just figuring out too much.
Yeah.
Overall.
It's like when people were freaking out about SARS or bird flu
or swine flu.
Or swine flu. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
H1N1.
Other
I remember
ones.
that.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Alyssa, Jordan and I are still going. I'm not too worried.
For sure.
Yeah. I think the most vulnerable place would probably be like around airport areas.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
But other than that, I think it's fine.
You think we're gonna get a whole row to ourselves?
I don't know.
Wait, we're going to Taiwan first. We gotta like transfer there.
Oh yeah. And Taiwan's closer to China.
Yeah, and you get to have your own. If you get your own row, you could sleep. It'll be a good time.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. Speaking of people freaking out too much, when I come back, my company is putting me on a 2-week quarantine, so I'll be forced to work from home. Well, on top of that, I recently found out that my whole company is forcing everyone to work from home starting immediately today.
For how long?
TBA. It could be a month. Could be 2.
Until everything cools down.
Yeah. So next couple weeks before we go to Japan, Jordan, I'm going to be at home working.
Hey.
I don't want to.
Right.
I don't want to be at home, but I'm forced to. So there's nothing I can do about it. Like, I'd rather be in the office. I feel more productive in the office.
Yeah, I agree.
I want to be at home so I could watch Altered Carbon while I work.
Ooh, have you started watching it?
I only started watching episode 1 of this season.
Of this current season. It's interesting. I finished the second season. It's
For sure.
Interesting.
I already like it because I think the actors are already better than the first season.
Yeah, that's what a lot of the reviews I've read were saying was like the actor's a lot more charismatic than
Yes.
What's his name? Joel Kinnaman or something like that?
I don't even remember that actor's name anymore, but Anthony Mackie's been around for a long time, so...
Yeah.
Anthony Mackie.
Yeah.
My boy.
Season 1 of Altered Carbon was good, and I liked it, but I think because the acting wasn't so great, like, that was one of my detractors. Like, I forgot her name, but the cop.
Yeah.
I already forgot her name, but... She bothered me a lot. So,
there was. I think the acting was a little off, and some of the writing was pretty cheesy.
Yeah.
But I really liked the concept.
I
of
like
it.
the concept too.
The high sci-fi concept of it was
Yes.
just, and the visuals were really, really, really cool.
Yes.
And the action sequences. Like, there's a lot to love about Altered Carbon. So I wouldn't say it's like a perfect series, but if you're interested in
it's fun.
Yeah, high sci-fi concept,
body switching,
cyberpunk kind of thing, then it's really cool on Netflix.
Yes.
Oh, I think I can check it out. I have time now.
Yeah, now you have time.
Definitely.
While I'm working.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or you have time to play games.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that later. We're gonna talk about what we're playing later.
All right.
The next news story I want to bring up is about this Brazilian gamer who was sentenced to 116 years in prison.
I don't know the story.
Why do you guys think a gamer would be sentenced to 116 years in prison?
Well, here's a question: did he do something specifically game related?
She.
It's a she.
Sorry to make that assumption.
No, I don't know. I don't think so. No, I'm looking at the article summary, and it doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, because then that seems kind of clickbaity. Because it's like you can be a gamer, but then do something that's not game related and still go to jail.
I think it is related to her game.
Okay.
Gaming.
Okay,
her gaming career.
Her gaming career. Okay, so it's set in Brazil. It's 116 years. Man, what would it be? Did she kill someone?
No.
Okay.
By the way, the maximum amount of prison time you can serve in Brazil is 30 years. So she got more than that.
Wait, so it had to be multiple charges then?
Yeah, right? You know.
And she didn't kill anyone.
No, she didn't kill anyone.
Is it scam related?
Yeah.
Okay,
all right.
Scams are pretty. Like I was about to say, I think that's deserving of some time if she scammed like over 200 people or something like that.
I'll read the summary to you guys. This is from Business Insider. So Cheyenne Shea, it's SHAY. I don't know. Victorio is a Brazilian pro esports player turned influencer with tens of thousands of followers across social media. She was recently sentenced to 116 years in prison. she was convicted on fraud charges related to an online store she helped run from 2013 to 2017. More than 100 customers said that they never received orders or refunds from the shop. Victoria and her lawyer say they're appealing the ruling, and she pointed to a former partner in the business as the responsible party. So there you go.
Oh. What are the laws in Brazil for scamming like that?
Apparently go to prison.
It seems like it, because if it was from 2013 to 2017, that seems like a lot of scams.
Yeah, that's a lot of
years.
scams.
It builds up. That's probably why there's such a long sentence.
And 100 people too.
I don't know how the law works in Brazil. I assume at some point, like, that'll get reduced. I don't think they're gonna.
Parole? There you go.
Or something. I don't know how it works in Brazil. Here in the U.S., I don't think they're gonna make someone like that serve the rest of their life because of a scam.
Yeah.
Not that isn't bad,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like the headline makes it sound a lot crazier.
Oh yeah, no,
is.
and again,
I thought she killed someone.
no, yeah, exactly. But again, the maximum sentence in Brazil is 30 years. So if at anything, she'll be serving at most 30 years.
You know what happens when someone's sentenced for 116 years? They're using it as an example. So
Right.
Yeah, like a deterrent. A deterrent.
There's a dude in the U.S. who, like, this morning or yesterday, who was sentenced to 775 years. I'm like, okay, why would you give him that specific amount? Like,
Yeah.
I forgot what he did. It was something terrible. But, like, 700 years? Do you think he's going to live all those years? He's not an elf or something,
I think
you know?
it's just to make a point.
It's
Sure,
always to
yeah.
make a point.
Right.
Yeah.
And I get it. But, like, I'm like, this is ridiculous.
That's pretty ridiculous.
But yeah, I thought that was a pretty crazy story. I wanted to share it with you guys.
What
'cause
was sold at the store?
It just says the store. I don't. It's some online store.
Okay.
Some gaming stuff.
Can you
or
imagine
something.
if she just sold T-shirts and you
And
know,
just didn't
That'd be
send
hilarious.
keychains?
Man.
She didn't
Send
send
them.
keychains.
Don't fuck with
stickers.
Brazil.
Don't fuck with Brazil.
Like, they're like, hey, we had the Olympics here, and now it's over. We gotta find some other ways. Oh man. So Halo Combat Evolved, the remastered edition that's part of the Master Chief Collection on Steam, recently dropped with no announcement. They were just like, hey, it's available. And if you guys didn't know, that the whole collection is very modder friendly. So any mods that you either really liked or created back in the Halo 1, Halo 2 days on the PC, because there's Halo 2 for Windows Vista.
Yeah.
You can actually convert those over to the Master
cool.
Chief Collection. Yeah.
That is pretty cool.
So now there's people, like when Reach came out on PC, there were a lot of people on servers, and then if you shoot a certain weapon, like an object will fly out. Like people were using like needlers to shoot out warthogs. Like it was just insane.
Mm-hmm.
Or like using a gun to shoot out another gun because like they just modded it that way. And the developers are like, yeah, they encourage it. They're like, yeah, we want more people to do this kind of thing.
Well, yeah, because it's like with people making mods for Skyrim or Oblivion.
Right.
Like, it increases the longevity of the game. Like,
Yeah.
people are going to play it a lot more now that there's, like, custom game modes that you can make with mods and things like that, so...
Yeah, I like to think of the story of Just Cause 2 for PC. Someone made a multiplayer mod where you could have like up to 100 people in one server, and it was so popular that it eventually became part of the game, and the developers just added it on as a free thing on Steam. So now it's a separate download, and I thought that
I
was
remember
really
this
cool.
story.
Cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of multiplayer mods, there's a Skyrim multiplayer mod that's been in the works for a while. I played one of the like test versions of it, and it's really buggy, obviously, but it's kind of cool running around Skyrim and you see your friend, but it's janky because obviously Skyrim is not meant to be multiplayer. So like the way they did it was basically two people are playing and their games sync up, and in your game you see an NPC, but that NPC mimics the other player.
Oh, you're telling me that.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting, but I haven't checked up on it for a while, but I kind of want to go back and see how that one's doing.
Oh hell yeah, that sounds so cool.
Because Halo Vault was announced a while ago, but was it? Or am I thinking of something different? Like, there was a Halo collection that was announced.
The Master Chief Collection.
The Master Chief Collection.
Yeah, that came out last month?
Yeah, Reach came out last month.
Oh,
January.
okay,
Sorry, it
okay.
came out in January.
Got it. So these are two completely different things.
Which one?
Halo Reach, and then
Halo.
the one that came out last month, and then this.
Oh, so they're part of the same collection.
Oh, they're part of the same collection.
Yeah.
Got it.
So this collection originally came out on the Xbox One.
You see, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that's where I was confused.
There you
for a
go.
bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. And they recently released it on Steam so that more PC players, can be.
Oh yeah, of course. Why
know,
not?
A wider audience.
More games are being released on PC too.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. The Yakuza games are on PC.
Yes.
They're on Steam. and I never thought they'd be there.
I think the downside is a lot of these console ports sometimes aren't done well.
Oh, God,
because it's like, oh, well, PC's a big market, so let's make our game for PC.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they don't really optimize it for PC, or the controls are really weird because they didn't, like configure it properly for PC.
Mm-hmm.
And so like it's a good thing that a lot of stuff is coming to PC. I just hope that they start doing a better job at it sometimes.
Yeah.
That's why the Master Chief Collection is taking so long, because they're optimizing it for PC, and I'm totally fine with that.
I think that if you're optimizing it in such a way where you want it to perfection on PC, then you do have to take more time on it.
Yeah.
So I respect it.
I mean, look at Cyberpunk 2077. It's been delayed, and I'm fine with it because I want them to make a perfectly polished game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I bring up a topic that you two talked about last week?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Okay, so you two were talking about last week how Phil Spencer of Xbox made the comment that Nintendo and PlayStation were no longer competition to Xbox, and how Amazon and Google were the real competitors, and cloud gaming is the future.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to weigh in because I wasn't on last week's episode.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have very mixed feelings about the statement. So first, I'm gonna talk about how Phil Spencer is right. I think Phil. So first, Phil Spencer is right because I do think eventually there is going to be a future with cloud gaming, and it makes sense.
Sure. Yeah.
And I don't think that PlayStation, to my knowledge, I don't think that PlayStation has even remotely started doing proper research or doing collaborations with people like Amazon or Google to even I don't expect PlayStation, for example, to be like 20 years into research, but I don't think they've even like started kind of, or even like treaded the water.
Yeah.
There's PlayStation Now.
Right.
But
it's defunct.
Yeah, and it's defunct. So PlayStation has always been very much like about the console and just about the hardware itself. So I don't think that PlayStation has intentions of really switching into cloud-based gaming for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that they do have to not necessarily switch immediately, because I don't think they should switch immediately, but they should start looking into it.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's actually the only point to why I think Phil Spencer's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think majority of Phil Spencer's statement is not necessarily wrong, but very misguided.
Mm-hmm.
So first, to implement full cloud gaming to perfection, it's not just about the gaming company and the gaming servers itself, but it's reliant on, say, like your LTE. It's reliant on your data plan. It's reliant on a bunch of things that are not necessarily in control or in partnership with gaming. So the idea that cloud gaming is the future is a thing, but I don't think it's a future that we're going to see in 10 years because there's just so many factors that are involved. And I think the issues of saying that Amazon and Google are the only like competitors. So yes, they obviously have cloud-based systems and infrastructures, but basically, like with Google Stadia, what I've seen so far is I don't think they have a really full grasp of what the gamer wants to be and I don't think they've I think that Google basically rushed it. I think that they just needed more time a lot more years working on it, and
they shipped the beta console.
Exactly. They shipped the beta console. So in terms of Phil Spencer's statement, it's not going to happen for a very long time. And I agree with the last week's statement where it's like VR, where VR is still being worked on, and like no one is really gonna get VR until one, it's a lot cheaper, and two, VR is light like glasses.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just a lot of things in technology that we say are gonna is near future, but it's not at all.
Yeah.
And another point that I would say against Phil Spencer is nothing is ever going to beat having something downloaded. So I think about Netflix. I think when I stream Netflix on BART, and I forgot to download the episode directly on my phone, like it, like sometimes it'll get shitty, or you go in a hot, in a black spot. But then if you have the episode downloaded on your phone, it's always going to work successfully. There's always going to be no issues, which is why Nintendo is always going to be successful in the portable,
of course,
in the portable realm, because nothing is going to beat having the game physically downloaded on your hardware.
Yeah, I think the internet connection part's always going to be a limitation.
Exactly.
For cloud gaming.
There's always going to be some limitation to it. And even cloud-based gaming in your home, nothing will ever beat having the thing physically downloaded to your hardware and being able to play it successfully.
Right.
Especially if you're in a place that's not San Francisco or Los Angeles or New York.
Yeah.
What if you're in the middle of the Midwest?
Right. Like some of the exceptions to that would be like, Kansas, certain parts of Kansas have
fiber.
Yeah, have gigabit fiber.
Yeah.
But then if you're not in there.
Yeah, if you're not in Kansas, then.
Like you're in some rural area in the woods and you really want to play games. It's like, you can't unless you have insanely good internet.
So that's why, to your point and to your point last week, Jordan, I think that Nintendo will always be king of like that thing, because they're a toy company. They will always be buy our physical game or download it via our eShop directly. It. Yeah. And I think that we're going to grow up in that generation where our kids will be like, why isn't it playing well? Because like, is something wrong with the internet connection? When I'm playing this game, you're like, back in my day, we downloaded our games.
And
we had cartridges.
We got cartridges.
Cartridges and discs. And they're like, man, I don't get that. Get that baby's toy out of here. You gotta use your hands. It's like a baby's toy.
But yeah, I just wanted to say my stance on that.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I was actually going to ask you about your opinion on that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I was
But you did it. Yeah.
I did it
anyways.
Did it,
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we're all in agreement that Phil Spencer's comment is yes, but no. Well, yes, but no.
Yeah. Well, yes, but no.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah. It's true, but it's misguided and it's misleading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Google, despite them having a game system, they're still not a game developer, not a game company, right? Yeah. And they're trying to get there. They're trying to be that with their Stadia brand. And I think it's very noble of them. And I think it's something in the right direction. Yeah, exactly. And I think...
Why not?
Yeah.
Google didn't lose any money out of this.
Oh, hell no.
Like, Google's still rich. You see, that's another thing. And just going off of another point, like with PlayStation. So, Google and Microsoft, they have disposable income to actually work on it. Sony does not. Sony actually has to do things, and which I will say, in fairness to Sony, they don't have budget to just do research on, like, put a bunch of money towards cloud-based gaming.
Yeah.
Whereas Microsoft and Google can throw so much, and it's not going to affect their budget in any way whatsoever.
Yeah, based on... I have some experience doing a contract job for Google, and so I got to go to some Google conferences.
Yeah.
And so one thing I sort of got exposed to was the fact that Google just... They make so many products, like so much.
Yeah.
And their approach is, I guess, what you call like a shotgun approach. You just fire everything. You just try to make a hit, just like by making as many things as possible, and hopefully something lands.
Yeah.
But because they can do that, because they have so much money, and yeah, like at the Google conferences, there's like there's your typical things like Android and G Suite, etc. But then you have all these really random side projects that you've never heard of, and you're like, what is this?
What was the weirdest thing you can say? Like, what can you talk about that's the weirdest thing you saw? Or if you can't, that's fine.
I don't know if there's any... I mean, I don't know how many people are familiar with WayMo. Have you heard of that?
Nope.
It's like a self-driving car thing.
Oh, okay.
I have heard the name before.
And then Google also has been acquiring a lot of things.
Okay,
Do you know that Nest is owned by Google?
Yep,
Oh,
I knew
that's
that.
a recent thing. And so, like Google's just been buying up stuff and creating random projects. And then, like, I was working on a chat application when in my time there, and I remember someone mentioning Google has like 10 or more like chat applications.
Yeah.
And so it's like as a company, you don't need that many. You just need like one or two
Just
for
G-Chats.
different...
I thought G-Chats was the only one.
No, there's like Hangouts chat, and there's there's a whole bunch of other stuff. So yeah, Google just
they're
Google
all connected.
And Microsoft and all these other big tech companies, they can afford to just make tons of products.
Right.
Yes.
See if it works or not. And I don't know, like as it's been shown in the gaming industry, usually it takes one person to start it, to like make one big push for it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then somebody else will come along and make a better version.
Oh, I completely
So I
agree.
honestly don't think Stadia will be the ultimate version of this.
It won't.
Oh
Yeah.
heck no.
Because yeah.
I do personally believe at this stage, I think Microsoft is going to be the first to create a really good cloud-based gaming system, because they already have a very successful streaming platform. But it's not going to be for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not going to be next year.
Like you said, like with
Yeah.
VR, it's gonna
Yeah.
take a while for it to be mainstream.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think in VR's case, as we've discussed this to death, it just needs to be cheaper.
Yeah. It
That's
needs
all.
to be cheaper and more consumer friendly, which it hasn't. We're sort of there, but not really. So
But Valve Index is $1,000.
Yeah.
So no, I'm good.
It's not just about the consumers; it's also about the developers. You have
Sure.
to have more developers willing to adopt it too.
yeah,
But again,
that's a very good point.
yeah, and it goes hand in hand with consumers, because like
Sure.
it's weird, because it's like you need the consumers to buy up on it for developers to want to make content,
Mm-hmm.
but you also need developers to be making content for consumers to want to buy it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a weird situation, kind of a catch-22 scenario.
Yeah, no, totally. 100%. I mean, going off of that, I'm excited for Half-Life Alyx, but I know I can't play it because I don't have a VR system. I don't have none of my computers.
You don't
can
have a
run-
$1,000 VR system.
Sadly, no, I'm not that rich.
Also, it helps to have like space. You
We
know?
don't have space.
Our apartment's pretty small.
And I don't want to
Shout
move the
out
table.
to San Francisco and these small apartments.
Yeah, because like I only know one person who has a VR headset. He has an Oculus.
He has a room
And,
for
yeah,
it.
and he has like a huge, like his living room is big, and he has his desktop and everything set up in his living room, and like he has so much room to just move around and kick things, and yeah, like you need like a good rig, and the headset, and the games, and the space, and this VR is
lot of
not
money.
accessible. It's just not accessible right now.
That's fair.
I'll sell one of my 10 Lamborghinis to get one. It's okay.
Yeah, pretty much. We need some of that Black Mirror stuff. You put the little thing on your
Oh,
head.
yeah.
God.
And
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
just in it. You just sit down and
Oh.
it's fully immersive. There's no yeah.
As cool as that is, it's also scary.
It's
That
really
is scary. 'Cause
Uh.
how do you you can't feel anything? I don't know how it works. Like, how do you wake
Yeah.
up? What if there's a fire? Will you know that there's a fire in your
Exactly.
house while you're sitting there?
You don't.
I don't know.
That was a Daniel Kaluuya episode, right?
Yes,
Right?
but there's been multiple episodes.
Okay,
They've used that concept.
They've used the
in
concept,
multiple,
yeah.
in multiple episodes.
multiple times. Yeah. So, yeah. Thank you for sharing your thoughts on that subject, Alyssa.
Yeah, no worries. When I heard the episode, I had very strong opinions when he first said that. So yeah.
Phil Spencer, man, what are you doing, Philly P?
Yeah, and
Please,
I
yes.
agree with a lot of what Phil Spencer says regularly. Like I think he has potential to be sort of like who was the guy from Apple?
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there is creative vision there.
Sure.
He's creative. But there needs to be a technical person like a Woz, which I don't know who that is.
I don't think there is one, but I mean,
Yeah.
maybe there is. We just don't know about that.
Yeah,
person.
exactly. Maybe we just don't know.
Yeah. And then you got Nintendo in the corner, just be like, "What's cloud gaming about? Huh? Oh well, you can.
What's
You got
VR?
Mario.
I know.
Yeah, VR. What? We got a theme park opening up,
Yeah, right? Nintendo's chilling.
and they're gonna keep taking that niche market as long as the people want mobile games, right? So
Yeah.
Yep, pretty much.
yeah.
Those family-friendly games. I mean,
Exactly.
not that it's all family-friendly. They have Doom now on Switch.
And
so-
Skyrim.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, I think last episode, people are not buying a Switch for Doom or for
Oh,
Skyrim.
no.
Like,
They're buying it
That's
to
not
buy
the
the
main reason.
shovelware on the eShop.
I gotta give props to Nintendo for letting indie games
Oh
shine.
yeah, they
you know?
flourished, and now Cuphead's on the Switch.
Yeah, like
what
I heard indie developers are really happy with the Switch because
Yeah.
of how friendly it is towards indies.
Oh yeah.
And gooses.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Unnamed Goose Game.
Oh yeah. Speaking of games, I mean, this whole podcast is about it. This is a
Yeah.
weird segue. What are you guys playing?
What is like the smoothest segue to what we're playing ever?
Thank you. I tried.
All right.
Alyssa.
Okay, so I finished Octopath Traveler.
Ah, yeah.
And I'm going to record an episode by myself that goes into the storylines of all the 8 characters for a bit because I do want to talk about that. I really enjoyed Octopath Traveler. It's definitely in my top 5 for JRPGs that I've played. I think that the stories are very good. they're very fun. I like all the characters, and I think that the turn-based battle was actually quite difficult, and there was a lot of strategy that I had to put into thinking about, where, like, which move should I do first? Like, should I do magic? Should I do a physical attack to break this shield? Should I lower this enemy's attack points? Like, there was a lot that I had to think about. And as you know, each character has a different set of abilities that you just have to create the perfect combination for each boss. So for all the 8 characters, when I started the game, and the first half of the game, I was like, I have a core 4, and this is not going to change. By the end of the game, my core 4 had completely changed, and each battle, I was using a different group of people.
I feel like that's good game design, right?
Yeah,
like,
it is good game design.
It forces you to have to try to use all of them at some point.
I completely agree. I had to think about the boss in terms of, because each boss has 3 levels. It's one of those games where, of course, like, he gets harder when he's has 1/3 left.
Change?
Yep, and the mechanics change. And once you got to chapter 4 for each character, which is the last chapter of each path, all the bosses. So the bosses, to break their to break their shield, so that you can do, so each boss has weaknesses, and there's a counter where if you hit the boss with this weakness like 8 times, for example, then you can do whatever attack that you want. So it's like, for example, this person has a weakness to ice, attack with ice 8 times, and then after that you can attack with anything like thunder, fire, for that round until the shield regenerates.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So, but once you got to chapter 4, like, the weaknesses were constantly changing. So I had to really think about it. There were quite a few heartbreaking boss losses. I lost when there was like 10,000 HP left on the boss. When there was like only an 1/8 left, but then the boss like did something and completely obliterated my people.
No.
Oh man.
Yeah. So it was a really it was a great JRPG though, because it wasn't just a simple turn-based game.
Is Octopath Traveler a Switch exclusive?
It is not a Switch exclusive anymore. It's also.
Okay.
But I'm glad that I got it on Switch, because a lot of the game is grinding. So I wanted, one of the reasons I wanted to get a Switch was to play this game. And when I found out last year it came out on PC, I was like, oh, I should get it on PC then. But then I thought about it and I was like, wait, but if I feel like a JRPG is just great for a commute, like, and I work late nights, at least majority of my life, so
perfect.
Yeah, it's
for mobile.
Exactly. So I wanted to play this game mobile, and it was a great choice playing it on Switch. I would not get Octopath on PC. I would get it on Switch.
Yeah, I think that's one way that Nintendo shines, is because it's they're heavily focusing on the mobile handheld part of it. The single player games can really shine because you can just start it, put it down, pick it up whenever you want.
Exactly.
As opposed to like these huge multiplayer games now where you need good internet connection, you need to be dedicated and sit down. You can't just pause it. That's not really Nintendo's thing, other than maybe Splatoon. But yeah, other than that, like Nintendo really shines with, hey, I want to play this game, this really long game, but I'll just play it whenever I'm traveling, or play it whenever I'm in the office and have nothing to do.
Yeah, it's perfect.
That's what Animal Crossing is going to be for me.
I know. Yeah. I think it's going to be like that for a lot of people.
Yeah.
A few story points that I'll go more in depth when I record a separate spoiler cast. My ending party, for people who actually played Octopath. So my ending party is Cyrus, because Cyrus is the character that I chose, who's a black mage. Therion, who is the thief, and he's a combination of stealing and physical attack.
Oh.
He was also part of my original party. So he's the only character who lasted from my original party.
Wow.
Like Cyrus and Therion. And then there's 2 new people who swapped. But the 2 people who swapped are characters where I didn't realize their full potential until they reached like level 50. It was one of those things where it was like, oh, these characters are kind of weak. But then once they hit like level 30, I'm like, okay, there's actually like some very solid use with these characters. And then by the time they reach level 40, it's like I'm completely switching out all these characters because like
That's cool.
yeah. So there's just a lot of thinking involved. So the last 2 characters that I had were Alphin. Alphin's an apothecary, so he is combination of black mage and white mage in the form of potions, as well as a physical character, so he's both. And then my last character was Tressa, and Tressa is more of a support character through skills. So she grants level, like max levels for people and whatnot.
Okay,
So
that's
yeah,
cool.
so there was just a lot of things that I had to think about. And my favorite character in terms of strength and party is Cyrus, which was the original character I chose, the Black Mage. My favorite story though was Alphin, and I'll go more into that next time.
Look out for that podcast.
Look out for that podcast.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I also know you played the Final Fantasy Remake
The
demo.
I have a lot of thoughts.
Okay, let's hear it.
All right. I played the Final Fantasy VII demo, and it took about 40 minutes to complete
Wow.
the mission. Yeah. Okay. I had to watch the original Final Fantasy VII game after, because as I was playing, I was like, I wonder how close to the original bombing mission.
That's what I was wondering.
I wonder how close to the original bombing mission it was. I would say even there's like some one-offs, but it's like 90% accurate to the original bombing mission.
Oh.
It's pretty like
That's pretty cool.
They do some like one-off dialogues because like the dialogue back then was,
Yeah, just text.
yeah. So they changed it up. It's pretty close, including the original bombing mission theme song, which a lot of fans who've played Final Fantasy VII, they know exactly what that song is. It's one of their most it's one of Final Fantasy's most popular songs of the entire original soundtrack of their series and franchise. I thought that the demo was actually pretty great. It was a really entertaining game. The graphics looked great. Midgar looked awesome. The characters were good. You play for anyone who doesn't really know what happens in the first mission of Final Fantasy VII, you're just trying to put a bomb on a reactor, and I can't go into much more detail beyond that because that's kind of a spoiler. But you start off with like 4 characters who yourself is Cloud. You start off with kind of like a not a henchman, but like your sidekick. His name's Barrett. And then you start off with 2 other people who I already forgot their names, but it's okay. Because well, this is why. So in the demo, you could actually play as Barrett too.
But
you can't play as the other 2
Is
characters.
he the guy with the gun arm?
He is the one with the gun arm. So
call him Barrett for a reason.
you're going through the game. The active battle system is very interesting. So you're building up your gauges, and in the demo, I'm pretty sure it's gonna increase when you play the game, or it's gonna come faster. But but there's up to 2 gauges you can get in the demo, and so you keep attacking until you get to the gauge, and then when you get to the gauge, you can attack one of the machines with like a special skill or something like that, or you can attack with magic or do something different aside from just regular slash. But there was one thing that I didn't get in the demo, and I feel like there was probably a way to do it, but I just completely missed it. So in battles, I could not heal unless I had my gauges filled up. So normally in typical JRPG, you could just throw a potion out whenever.
Yeah.
I could not throw out potions unless my gauges were filled, and that was surprising. I didn't know. Like, the thing is, the level of the boss and the reactor you had to fight was just so low that it was kind of like I could deal with it, and it was like so like not as significant. But it made me think, like, for future bosses, when things start to get seriously, like, oh, so you can only heal when you filled up these gauges, but and the ATB gauges, but you can't just like heal like whenever you want.
What?
That sounds really challenging.
It sounds really challenging. I will say the combat system was fun because not only could you play with Barret, but you can switch back and forth. So Cloud and Barret. So Cloud, if for anyone who doesn't know about Final Fantasy, Cloud is someone with a huge ass sword, Buster Sword.
He's got skinny arms for some reason.
He has skinny arms.
You carrying that around? How do you have skinny arms? Just gotta say.
I know, right? And then Barret has an arm that's a gun, and so one of them short range, the other one's long range. So in this demo, you're fighting some flying machines as well as you're fighting some close range robots. You have to switch back and forth. The one thing, I played on normal, and you can, when you're playing with one character, you could also send commands to the other character too.
Okay.
And I had to do that a lot because one thing is sometimes when I'm playing with Cloud, I didn't feel like Barret was shooting as much as he could shoot. So it's like sometimes I had to, instead of like doing the command system where I was handing out commands, I actually had to manually switch back and forth so I can fill up the gauges faster.
Oh,
I imagine, I feel like that's intended though. I feel like they want you to switch between characters.
I definitely, I agree. I think it's much more like you can give, I think the intention is you can give commands, but you have to fill up the gauge yourself by doing attacks.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a remake, not a remaster.
Yes.
A remaster, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I will say I enjoyed it. I can understand, though, if someone found this battle system very difficult. And definitely if you've never played like an active battle system like this, I would say go with easy.
Is it anyway similar to 15? Final Fantasy 15?
I would say that it's harder than 15. Someone said this on the Discord, but someone said it was like a combination, like an in between of Final Fantasy 13 and Final Fantasy 15. Whoever said that's pretty accurate to what the battle system was, I'd say.
Got it.
Yeah. So it's kind of like it's a sweet spot. It's like challenging enough from Final Fantasy 15, which I thought Final Fantasy 15's battle system was on the easier side.
Would you recommend this game to anyone who's never played a Final Fantasy game before?
Thank you for asking me this question. I can't wait to get into this. Okay. Now that I've gone through that, and the demo's great, by the way. I have a very different opinion about Final Fantasy VII the Remake. So I noticed that in Square Enix's marketing for this game, they're not calling this Final Fantasy VII the Remake Part 1, or they're not calling it Final Fantasy VII the Remake Volume 1, or they're not indicating that this is Part 1 of something. And that really irks me as someone who has played Final Fantasy VII before.
Because the whole game is not in Midgar.
The whole game is... This first part of the remake is in Midgar.
Okay.
And so in Final Fantasy VII, the original game, if you played it on PlayStation, it's 3 discs. So in my head, what I'm assuming is there's going to be a part for each disc. 3 games. Yeah, so there would be
episodes.
Exactly, 3 games or 3 episodes total. So this whole so this demo, as you know it, it's going to take place in that city of Midgar. That's the whole thing. And so you're only going to play with Cloud. You're only going to play with Aeris. You're only going to play with Barret. You're only going to play with Tifa. But you're not going to meet like Yuffie or like Vincent and all these other people, presumably, until you get to part 2 and 3. So now let's go back like 15 years ago or 12 years ago when we first saw this demo from Square Enix that no one knew it was going to blow up, and then pressured Square Enix into saying, oh, maybe we should remake this game.
Mm-hmm.
So it took however the fuck, it took 10, 12, 15 years for them to remake this game, but it's only this like third of the game. It's only this Midgar portion, and they're not even advertising it, or they haven't even mentioned a rollout schedule of, so this is episode 1. Episode 2 is going to come out in 2022. Episode 3, the final, is going to come out in 2024, and you're going to get a collector's edition for it. No, they didn't, like, they haven't even, like, announced any of that. And as someone who has actually played Final Fantasy VII, I know that this is not the whole game. And so my question, which I think was a question I've talked about this a few times, but now it's really coming together. How much is this game for a third of the original game? And you're not even advertising the fact it's going to happen in multiple episodes. And I'm kind of worried about the rollout of this whole Final Fantasy VII game, because, for example, what if this part 1 actually took the 12 years to make? What if they haven't even started
they
making
don't have anything?
Exactly. What if they haven't even like started the juicy stuff of disc 2? Like, what if they're still only on like 1 year of disc 2 development?
Could be possible.
I think it's with Square Enix's track record. Yeah, I think so.
And you see, like, these are the things that worry me about the way that this is advertised. So I'm gonna just say this, like, you're gonna enjoy this game if you've never played this game before, because there's no expectation for you. You're just gonna play this and it's gonna be totally fine. And there's going to be people who are diehard Final Fantasy VII fans who are going to play this no matter what. And as a person who likes Final Fantasy VII enough, I'm skeptical, because naturally I would want to wait for the third disc or the final collector's edition to come out to actually play all of this. Mm-hmm. But I don't even have confidence of when that's going to come out.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be Kingdom Hearts 3 all over again.
Exactly. And honestly, I just want Square Enix to provide some clarity, like something.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, I think this is actually the best for someone who's never played Final Fantasy VII before.
Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Because there's absolutely no expectation. If you've never played Final Fantasy VII before and you want to try this, you should totally do it. Because, like, you're not going to be disappointed.
Right.
Whereas I might be disappointed, like, if I find out there's not even a part 2 coming out in the next 2 years.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. Wow, thank you for the insight. I know you're one of the biggest Final Fantasy fans I know.
Yeah.
So you have every right to talk about it as much as you can and divulge all that information to us.
Yeah, it's shocking to me that Square Enix has just not even revealed that when are the other parts of the world or discs coming out.
I think that might also be to your point that maybe this is like they're trying to market it more for people who've never played it. Yeah, Final Fantasy VII, because then if you're saying, oh well, this is part 1. Some people might be like, oh, well, I have to buy part 2 and 3. And it's just like someone who doesn't know much about it. They might be like, oh, well, I don't know if I want to wait for a part 2 or 3, or I don't know if I want to play an incomplete game.
Exactly.
And so maybe they're like, oh, well, this is the game. And then people who've never really heard much about it, they'll be like, oh, well, I'll try it out. And they'll finish it and they'll be like, agree. Maybe there's a sequel coming, but I'll wait. And
yeah. For me, this is an incomplete game. That's why I can't start it.
Yeah. It makes sense. And I think that you have every right to feel this way.
Yeah.
And hopefully they'll tell you when the whole thing's coming out. But I don't think it's going to be in the next couple of years. I think they're going to wait 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, on the plus side, they've already done a lot of work already. Like, the mechanics
That's fair,
are there.
Yeah, the mechanics are there.
The assets are there. So
That's very true.
I assume it wouldn't take as long to make the next 2 sections of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming it's 2 sections. Who knows? It could be more.
It's a remake.
Or it could be
I
less. Who knows?
Yeah.
Because like you said, they didn't say anything.
They haven't
So
said anything.
It could be 5 more sections. Who knows? Or DLC.
No.
Or it could be Kingdom Hearts, where they release like 10,000 games in between that are loose spin-off games.
Oh man.
You know?
But like they have a working portion of it, so they're like teasing the fans hardcore.
Yeah, they're totally.
You know?
I mean, that shows their confidence.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
If they're willing, because nowadays a lot of games do not release demos,
Yeah.
and they release and they're broken and they don't work or they're poorly optimized.
Yep.
So the fact that they released a demo suggests that
Yeah.
they're very confident in what they have so far. So I mean, that says something. I don't know. It's kind of up in the air at this point.
Yeah. There's only one way I would get the game on launch, and it's if Square Enix surprises me next week and tells us, "Oh, the episodes are actually coming out like yearly, and this first remake part's only $20." And like
That would definitely get people to buy it.
that would be the dream. That would
Yeah.
that would be the dream, because then you add it all up, it equals $60 for like all 3. By the
yeah.
way, I'm only saying 3 because there's physically 3 discs of the original PlayStation 3 game. The original PlayStation 1 game. There might not even be like 3 things. I'm just basing it off of that because technically Midgar is disc 1. So that's the only reason why I'm saying 3. It might not be 3.
I think it'll come out within the next 5 years.
Oh, one can only hope.
One can only. I was about to say 5 is optimistic. Like five's like I think fine. Like 5's
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
The fully released version will come out within 5 years.
I think that is okay. I can wait for that.
Yeah, there's gonna be other games coming out.
Yeah.
You know.
But just to give another example, like of if they pulled this with Final Fantasy X, which is my favorite Final Fantasy game, I would be totally like pissed off as a fan, because I'm just like, excuse me, like this, like I know that this game has an end, like it has an end, and you're splitting it up into 3 episodes. Not to mention, I don't know when these 3 episodes are coming out. Like take any game that you love, and they did a remake of it. And they're splitting it up into however many episodes, and each episode is still $60, and they don't tell you when the full thing is actually going to come out.
Yeah.
I'd be
That's
mad.
how I feel. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it would be like having a movie end on a cliffhanger, but then you don't even know if they're gonna make the next movie. You know, like
Yeah.
all those things.
That's like in Harry Potter, right? Like you know, there's like 8 books, and then
Yeah.
like they make
Yeah, but I feel
one
like
movie.
I feel like they kind of made you assume that the next
Right.
part would come out at the next year. Or it
Oh,
was already
okay.
even
Maybe,
Yeah.
that's a bad example.
Let's say Incredibles. The
Ah.
Incredibles.
Oh my
Ends on
gosh.
sort of a cliffhanger.
There
New
we
villain
go.
shows up. There's still unanswered questions, and then the next movie comes out like 15 years later.
And you're like,
You know, and it continues right where we're left off, but it's still
Yeah.
like weird.
my son's a teenager now.
Yeah. Like I think that one of the actors who played one of the kids, he grew up, so they had to
Yeah.
use a different actor.
That's why he sound. Yeah, that's why Dash sounds different.
Yeah.
I really think it really shocks me that they did an Incredibles and they started right where they left off, though.
Yeah, like within minutes of where
like
they
that
left off.
that was surprising to me, because I thought it would have been cool if all of these, like the kids especially, were older.
Oh, if they like jumped
Yes.
through time.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
there was a video game that came out right after the movie came out, the first movie, and it continued right after the first movie came out. And they basically with this sequel, they just ignored that game.
Is it Shenmue?
No, it had the Underminer, like it took place right after the first
okay,
movie
okay.
ended. And the Underminer, it had Frozone, of course, and then I forgot what the rest of it was, but the Underminer was like one of the bad guys, and they just said no.
yeah.
Which I understand for creative freedom. So I thought that was interesting that they're like, this is
sure.
an official sequel, and then they're like, no, it's not.
Yeah, I don't know.
Whatever.
It's weird. And the Underminer minor spoiler for Incredible 2. The Underminer part goes nowhere. Like the Underminer disappears at the end of that sequence, and you never see him again. So there's no point to having
Just
him.
like real moles.
He served very little purpose in that movie at all. So it was weird. Why even continue it at that part?
Yeah, you know, yeah, you're right. Yeah, it was to set up the family. I don't know. It was weird.
I don't know.
That movie was
I didn't like it as much as the original.
I love definitely the original's the best
same.
one.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we can all collectively agree.
Yeah.
Jordan, what are you playing?
I've been playing some Heroes of the Storm.
You've been playing HOTS?
Yes, I've been playing HOTS.
Oh, wow.
Just because a lot of my friends started playing League again, and I was just like, I can't get into League.
Right.
And
Is League? We're coming back with League. Did League never leave?
League is
League
still
never
a
left.
thing.
Okay.
League is still a thing.
Still toxic.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was just like, I don't know, League's just not for me. I used to play HOTS a while ago, and then so one of my friends was like, all right, if you don't want to play League, then let's try playing HOTS again. So we started getting back into HOTS again, and I still like it. Like this is the only MOBA I've ever played. I haven't even touched League or Dota
Don't
or
do it.
Smite or any of those games.
Yeah.
I've only played HOTS, and I'm told that HOTS is like a much easier version. It's baby League, but
Nice.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of concepts that I know of in League that I just don't want to deal with. Like last hitting is a thing in League where it's not a thing in HOTS. Just everybody shares XP. You don't have to buy things from a shop. It's just everybody gets their own abilities that they level up because your whole entire team levels up together.
Oh.
And also the games are much shorter. Like I think a standard League game is like 40 minutes to an hour. Whereas a standard HOTS game, because there's like a replay system where you can see all the games that you played and you can rewatch them. And in my average time for a HOTS game is like 20 minutes.
Wow.
Sometimes less. And so it just depends on how well you do. Like if you get stomped or you stomp the other team, then it's going to be even less than 20 minutes. But in general, it's like 20 to 25 minutes.
Okay.
And then, yeah, there's a lot of cool mechanics. Like in League, there's like monsters, right? Jungling, where you go in, you kill monsters, and you get XP. So in HOTS, when you go in and you kill these monsters in the jungle, they become your minions, and they'll like start fighting for you. Like they're called mercenaries. So you kill a mercenary camp, and the mercenaries go and they fight a tower for you, and that makes the game go by much faster because you have like extra damage against the enemy team.
Yeah.
And there's a whole bunch of like side objectives, and every map has different objectives. Like one map, you have to collect a bunch of bombs, and you use the bombs to nuke the enemy base. Or there's another one where you can't even directly attack your enemy's base.
Okay.
You have to like capture these control points, and the control points shoot these cannonballs at the enemy base. Or like there's one that's like a pirate thing, there's one that's like a graveyard thing. There's like a lot of variations, and they use characters from Overwatch and Diablo and StarCraft, Warcraft. So there's a lot of like familiar faces, and there's like voice lines, and there's a lot of cool stuff to it. So far I'm liking it. I'd recommend it to anyone who doesn't really play MOBAs or wants to try a MOBA, but nothing so hardcore like League or Dota. HOTS is definitely on the easier end of things, and it's still fun. Sometimes you can run into some toxic people. It happens. Any game, any multiplayer game, competitive multiplayer game, you're going to find toxic people. Run into that sometimes, but not as much. I usually play with a group of, I'd say 3 to 4 friends. And so on a 5-man team, generally, if most of us are a team together, it's fine. But yeah, I've been mostly playing that. Then I've also been still playing Legends of Runeterra, which is the League of Legends spin-off card game, which is still a lot of fun. There's a lot of decks you can try, and like I mentioned before, it's really easy to get cards. So I like it more than Hearthstone in that it's easier to try new decks and new concepts, and just have fun with it. But yeah, those have been my main 2 games so far, and it's a little bit of Monster Hunter because they have like an event going on. But yeah,
Cool.
not too much.
Nice. Fun stuff. I'm still playing DBD.
Yeah,
Waiting for Chains of Hate to come out, the DLC with the cowboy and the gun.
I heard, yeah.
Yeah. So it's supposed to come out either this weekend, maybe, or next week. Sometime next week. So once that comes, I'm still replaying DVD, and nothing will change. I'll just be playing it.
How often
still.
do they release expansions like that?
It seems like once every couple months, which is pretty cool and
that's
pretty healthy.
that's pretty good.
Yeah, because 3 years ago, this game was totally different. Had no perks, very few characters. And then now, 4
Yeah, I
years
thought
later,
it was gonna die.
everyone did.
Because it was just like, it's a cool concept, but they're not really doing anything with it. So I was just like, I'm not really interested. But yeah, it seems like they're releasing content pretty regularly, which keeps the game flowing,
Yep. And with every new DLC, there's always an update to the game where people complain, and I'm just like, I'm totally fine with it.
It's fine.
Every game has that.
That was my experience with Destiny 2, which I haven't touched in a while, just because there's so many other games to play. But yeah, it was the same thing. Like there would be constant updates. There's every season. There's a big expansion.
Yep.
And every time people are like, the game's dying, multiplayer sucks, blah blah. But people still keep playing it. They're still playing it. And I see videos all the time. They're like, nerf this, nerf that. It's like, the game's never gonna be perfect. It's always
Of
gonna
course,
have,
yeah.
It's always gonna be one thing that's broken, or one weapon that's overpowered, or one game mode that just isn't working for people.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah, any big scale game like that's gonna have that.
Yeah. There's a mobile game of DBD coming out, Dead by Daylight Mobile.
Okay.
It's supposed to be spring 2020 is when it gets
It's
released.
like just the exact same thing, but worse graphics.
Yeah, it looks like a potato. It looks like, yeah,
It's
I mean,
basically like PUBG Mobile.
yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
I know they have a
it's
Call of Duty mobile.
same,
now, too.
yeah, no, yeah. But it's funny you mentioned that, Alyssa. PUBG Mobile and PUBG and Dead by Daylight share the same engine, the Unreal Engine, which is based on a shooter.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that they have a new killer that's going to have a gun, because the mechanics of him are basically a shooter, without the bullet, because he has like a hook that goes inside of you.
Does he have an ADS?
Yeah, he has ADS.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got
ADS?
aim down sights.
Like
You know,
iron sights.
Yeah,
Okay.
when you
Yeah.
like go like that in front of
Okay.
your face. So yeah, and DVD Mobiles has a mobile version coming. It's free to play, of course. If you want to spend money on cosmetics, you can. So I typed it into the store earlier, like an hour ago. I was trying to see if I could like pre-download it or pre-register or something, and I could pre-register it. And then when I was typing that in, there's another game called Dead Before Daylight.
Are they related?
No,
Okay.
Dead Before Daylight is like a much more potato-looking version of Dead by Daylight, but
That's yeah.
it's like they're trying to capitalize on that. You know?
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
It's mobile.
Yep.
There's always rip-off. The mobile marketplace is filled with rip-offs of other games
It's great.
everywhere.
Super Jumpman next to Mario.
It's
You're like,
everywhere.
"Whoa."
You know how many Clash of Clans clones there are?
Yup.
Like,
Yep.
there's so many.
It's great. No, I got a kick out of that. There's another game called what is it? Like something 9, and you can have 2 killers, and then there's 8 players, which I thought was a really cool concept. But it's basically just discount DBD again.
Yeah. Because I like the DBD style, like
Yeah.
that one versus all kind of mechanic. I wish there were more games that did that kind of thing. I know there have been. Like Evolve was one of the first ones.
Sure.
I don't think Evolve was the first one to do it, but they were the first one to like make it like draw attention to that kind of gameplay. But Evolve, I heard just got worse and worse, and it doesn't exist anymore.
Yep, pretty much.
And then there was that Friday the 13th. I think we've had this whole conversation.
Yeah,
before.
we did. Yeah.
Yeah, but and then there was a Predator game coming out. But
Yeah.
yeah. I just wish that more games did that kind of thing. It's really interesting.
Well, you're in luck. The Resident Evil 3 remake is going to have Resident Evil asymmetrical horror game where one person's the mastermind and there's like 5 people that are the survivors, but they have guns and they shoot zombies, and the mastermind can send like Mr. X, they can send Nemesis or whatever to chase you.
wow.
Yeah,
It's actually really cool.
I don't think that's an original idea either. But
No,
I
absolutely
think
not.
yeah, I think there really hasn't been a game that's like a big AAA game that's done something like that.
Yeah. Finally,
this is cool.
Yeah, Resident
That's
Evil's
pretty
doing
cool.
it. Yeah, and I want to get the 2 remake, and I also want to get the 3, but I'm going to wait till 3 goes on sale. I'm not really in a rush to play that multiplayer mode because I have DVD to fill that space right now.
Yeah.
I tried last year. Have you guys heard of that? The Nightmare? It's basically a kickstarted game it's set in the 1990s. It's an asymmetrical horror game. The killer can choose from 3 separate types of killers, and you can choose them at will, basically. Well, until you die. So you have like 4 or 5 survivors, and it's set in a school, and you're supposed to do a bunch of objectives to escape. It's kind of like DBD. And the killer can set up traps. They can spawn near you and then start beating you up, and then the survivors can fight back, and they can like hit him with a wrench. They can punch him.
that's cool.
One of them has a shotgun and then shoots him. And then they added a new killer to the list, which is a spider. It's just a giant spider.
Okay.
And my friend and I tried it because there was a 3-day weekend, and we were like, let's just go back to playing DBD.
Hey.
Maybe it'll get better as time passes
Yeah.
if more people adopt
Especially
it,
if it's a
but-
Kickstarter.
I mean,
Yeah.
it was it got released like 2 years ago, but it was only on Discord. And like no one buys games on Discord. I don't know anyone that buys games.
Have you mentioned this before?
Yeah,
this
I think
game
I
before?
did.
Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah.
I was like, it sounds familiar.
It's a Discord. It was a Discord release for like a year, and then it said
I
coming
think that
soon.
could hold it back. I think that would hold it back. No
Yeah.
offense, but I don't think that many people are looking for games on Discord.
Oh,
No.
definitely not.
I don't. The immediate screen that pops up when you open up Discord is like like shows kind of
Isn't
ads.
it still in beta mode too?
I
they're-
have no idea.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just like I get what they're trying to do, and I think it's really cool, but I don't use Discord for that.
Yeah.
I need
Yeah,
to chat.
I don't think Discord. There's already enough game launchers.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, right.
Discord's not gonna break into that.
I got
market.
Steam. I got Origin. I got Ubisoft Uplay. I got BattleNet. Like I don't need any more.
Epic Game Store,
oh,
you
gosh,
know,
yeah.
and then a lot of companies, Bethesda and whoever, and
Rockstar.
Rockstar are
Yeah.
making their
Yeah.
own launchers, and it's just like, come on, man.
Like, stop. Yeah. Well, that's the reason. One of the reasons why it failed. And everyone thought before it came out, it was going to be the DBD killer. Mm-hmm. DBD still killed it. So everyone thought the Friday the 13th game was going to be a DBD killer, but hey, that game's dying too. So I mean, yeah, DBD's still kicking it. It's
Yeah.
great. So on top of that, I've been playing Yakuza 3, and without spoiling anything, I think it's really cool. Alyssa, it takes place right after the end of Yakuza 2. You're taking care of an orphanage, and most of the game is you at the orphanage, which is pretty interesting.
So you're actually in
Taking care of kids.
Is it one of those things where you start off in Kamurocho, and then you go to, like, for example, where was it?
Okinawa.
Oh no, I was referencing 6, Hiroshima, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it one of those things where half of it is in each city, or majority of it is in Okinawa?
Right now it feels like half and half.
Okay.
But it feels like I've spent more time at the orphanage in Okinawa. That's why I'm saying it like it feels like you're spending more time there.
If you think about it, this is the like in terms of the Yakuza franchise release schedule, this is the first game that is not set in just Tokyo. Like
yeah.
in terms of like the whole history of the game. So when this game first, excluding 0, which includes Osaka,
and 2 remake, which includes Osaka. Which,
yes,
yeah.
exactly. But like starting from the very first regular Yakuza 2, and then Yakuza 3. This is the
yeah.
first time it's in a different location.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I never played the first 2 games when they first came out, so I can't really say. But yeah, no, I mean, Kiryu looks good in a Hawaiian shirt. It's pretty cool. Makes you want to go to Okinawa. When I was walking around Tokyo, I was like, man, I can't believe I'm going to go here. And when I was in Okinawa, I was like, damn, I want to go there.
Gotta go there in the summer though,
Yeah, that's true.
or spring.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to go to Tokyo in spring, so I think that's pretty nice too.
See some flowers.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Cherry
chill.
blossoms.
Yep.
Yeah. So I've been playing that.
Nice.
I'm not going to go into anything else, but what I do want to talk about are I've been noticing Kiryu says a lot of the same things over and over again, and I'm sure you've noticed this too.
Nani?
Yeah, so that's the number one thing. He says Nani a lot.
Nani?
It's in different ways, different tones.
Does he say it with the Okinawan?
No, he doesn't have
Okay,
an Okinawan
I was about
accent.
to say, like, God, if the whole game's just Nani.
No. So the other 2 phrases he says are he says someone's name like he's like Daigo omae. And it just like trails off, right?
Yeah.
Which is a very common anime thing. And by the way, omae is a very rude way of saying you in Japanese. You should never use that ever in Japanese because it's really, really rude.
Have you ever said that towards Haruka?
No, he never said it to
Okay,
her.
that was I want.
That's like a dude thing.
Oh,
I
okay,
think.
got it.
Yeah. Like omae. There's also that meme like omae wa shinderu, like you're already dead. And the other 2 things he says are nandato, which means like what did you just say, or what the hell?
Oh, okay.
He says that a lot. And the last thing he says a lot is doyu koto da, which means what do you mean by that, or what do you mean?
I see that kids are giving him a hard time.
Yeah, pretty much.
So all these phrases are him being confused.
Yeah.
Towards kids.
So the way I noticed that this game in particular moves along, and maybe I just haven't noticed it for the previous games, is for the plot to keep going, Kiryu has to ask a question like "nani" or "doyuimi," and then the plot goes on because he doesn't know what's going on. So in order for the viewer to understand, we put ourselves in his shoes and we ask what's going on.
Got it.
I'm just like,
I guess it's
I mean,
I guess that moves it forward.
yeah,
You know?
You're an old man, so
It's not the most creative way of progressing the story, but sure.
right,
Sure.
right. I mean, yeah. Kiryu doesn't seem like he knows everything all the time, which is totally fine because that would make a game really boring.
Yeah.
But he asks that so many times, and I'm like, is he gonna say it? If I took a shot for every time he said it, I'd be drunk by now.
Oh, it's one of those. Okay.
Yeah,
sure.
I'm just like thinking, is he gonna? Yep, there it is. There's the nani. Overall, I'm really enjoying the game.
Cool. I can't wait to really get my head in that game.
Yeah, I think you mentioned to me earlier. It's really short.
Yeah, it's the shortest game in the franchise.
I'm already on chapter 11, and there's 12 chapters.
Wow. All right. Cool.
I mean,
is this the least amount of time you've ever spent on the game?
I think so.
But I think this game also has the least amount of mini quests and sub stories and like side things.
Pretty much.
But are you enjoying golf?
No. I played it once, and I was just like,
is it like baseball where it sucks ass?
Yeah, it's like golf from Yakuza Kiwami 2.
Oh, okay.
It was okay.
Got it.
But it's a little bit more convoluted.
Okay.
It was fine. There's a hostess minigame that is not what I thought it was going to be. It's not the same as what you're thinking. It's like you have to manage her by dressing her up and putting makeup on her and then telling her and training her. It takes a lot of time.
Wait, so it's basically one step of the current cabaret club. Like if you think about cabaret club with like say Majima or like in Kiwami 2,
right,
half of it is actually the makeup part and training the hostess, and the other half is actually the running the hostess club.
You don't have the running of the hostess club. It's just the dressing up part.
Okay.
And it got really boring to me fast because like you have to do it once and then she gets tired and you only have one hostess, and then once you're finished leveling her up all the way to 100%, she leaves, and then you hire a new hostess and you do the whole thing over again. Oh, that is
weird. Okay.
But then you have all the things that you bought from the previous one, and you just dress her up with the same thing or something similar, and then whatever the customers want, they will go to her for that. So let's say like we want a girl who's charismatic, so you have to train her and also make her wear clothing that makes her more charismatic, and then you can get all the money and points and stuff.
Interesting. So you're not a customer where you can fall in love with the hostess, and you're not actually running a cabaret club in a sense that you are managing an actual session, but you are just training them, and after they're trained, it's that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But to your previous point, there is a game where you go to a cabaret club and
it's just the regular one where you can actually like fall for a cabaret girl. Okay.
Yeah, and then you end up like going somewhere with her on a date, and then you become friends with her, and then you have to save her from something, and you beat someone up.
Oh, okay, cool.
Then to get all the achievements, you have to do that, or all the trophies. I mean, you have to complete all those little side missions.
Nice.
So, yeah. Again, in true Yakuza fashion, all the girls are porn stars, and I'm like, all right.
And you recognize all of them?
Nope. I don't know what you're talking about. I had to Google it, and I didn't want to, Alyssa.
Okay. All right.
There's pool, billiards, and I was just like, it's the same as before, and I did not enjoy that, and I was like, I'm not going to play this. Batting cages. Bowling again. There's bowling.
Is there darts?
Darts?
I like darts, though. Darts is fun.
I didn't play it yet. I've been avoiding all that stuff because I've already done it in previous Yakuza games. And I'm just like, I'm just going to keep playing the main story.
Yeah, I feel like if there's not a new take on it, then why do it again?
Right.
And especially since they're only remasters.
Exactly. Yeah. We're technically going back in time and playing the games. So it's supposed to be leading up to the better stuff, but we've already played the better stuff. So it's just like...
But just wait till you get to Yakuza 5 and it's like...
Hell yeah.
Side quest over side quest on side quest on side... Like... Freaking there's just so much in Yakuza. Yakuza 5 is the longest game.
I'm excited. I'm really excited for that one. I'm not going to finish it by the time Animal Crossing comes out, and that's okay.
Oh, of course not. Wait. Oh, you can't finish.
Oh yeah, no. I was trying.
You can't finish Yakuza 5.
I was so trying. Trust
I will
me.
say, if you finished Yakuza 3 by tomorrow, you could probably finish 4 by Animal Crossing now that you're working from home every day.
Yeah, that's true.
You could actually probably finish 4, but you can't finish 5.
Okay.
I'm not being negative.
No,
realistically, I'm being pragmatic.
Yeah, no, realistically, it does because you're playing 5 different characters.
Yeah, exactly.
And that makes sense.
Yeah.
A lot of the side stuff I've been trying to play, like, I've been playing a lot of the sub stories, and they're still as wacky as they were before. It's interesting.
As is tradition.
There's the most interesting one, and this isn't really a spoiler, and I'm not going to talk about any other sub stories aside from this one, because I think you'd get a kick out of this, Alyssa. It's about learning English in the game, and the way they show Kiryu learning English is they have big bold letters, and they just put a space between all the letters.
Oh God!
And so there's a lady that tells you should learn English. You buy a book from her and you learn English, and then you meet someone on the street and then you learn English. You use what you learned to them, and it's pretty easy what the answer is. Yeah. Because it's all in English. And I think that's what the original game was trying to portray. That like it's all spaced out because the Japanese player was like, I don't understand what this means. Like, I'm just gonna pick this, but of course the regular text is supposed to be the Japanese. So I thought that was interesting because the story is about an English school that was scamming people. And I'm not going to go anywhere besides that. But in real life, there was an actual Japanese English school that was scamming people. And this sub-story was kind of based on that.
Okay.
And I thought that was really cool.
All
yeah.
right.
Look up Nova if you guys have a chance.
Nova
was a company in Japan that was trying to enforce people to learn English. They had a cute little character. They had like offices everywhere. And turns out they were scamming people. So I was like, oh, this is just like that. So pretty cool. Overall, solid game, really short, as I said before. It's really easy and really accessible. I'm not saying you should start with this game by no means, but as a longtime Yakuza fan, I think fans will be like, oh yeah,
this is the easiest game.
I think this is the easiest game overall so far, and because it's also the shortest, I think yeah,
that's fair.
And now I'm seeing why it makes sense they bundled 3, 4, and 5 together.
Yeah,
because they were like, let's just release everything out there. Yeah. 2, they're like, these games are too short to release on their own. So
except for 5.
Yeah, except for 5, but 3 and 4 I feel like are going to be really short.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Cool.
But yeah. When you start playing it, Alyssa, we will talk more.
Sounds good.
And as always, we'll have a Yakuza 3 spoiler cast once we're both done with the game. Actually, we should do a Yakuza Remastered Collection spoiler cast because these games are too short.
We can bundle 3 and 4 together and talk about 5 by itself. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. We don't have any questions this week, but I do want to give a shout out to Ben on Twitter who noticed the mistake that I uploaded.
So when you did the upload mistake, it had already fixed on my Apple Podcast. So like when you messaged me about it, when I listened to it, it was already fine. Oh. But then I didn't realize that it was like a whole like thing. But we fixed it. Yeah, we fixed it, y'all.
So Ben, thank you. I promise I'll do a better vetting process when I'm checking QC. I got to do QC.
No, we fixed it. Yeah. Everything's fixed.
When I messaged you, I was like, oh crap, am I gonna have to delete everything from every single platform? But you're like, nah, just upload it to Podbean.
Yeah, you just gotta.
That's so chill.
Yeah, you just gotta delete it and re-upload.
Oh, that's so easy. Yeah. Thank you, technology.
Yeah. Thank you, technology.
No comments or questions this week, but if you would like to, make sure you go to our website, www.downtime.live. You can submit a question or comment in the contact section. It'll bring up a new window with a new form. Just fill it out. If you want to send us an email the old-fashioned way, contact us at contact@downtime.live. We will read your question or comment on the podcast. You can leave a question or comment on anywhere that this podcast is hosted. When we will read it on the podcast. Leave us a review on Apple iTunes / Apple Podcasts, and we'll read it on the podcast. We're still 5 out of 5, which is a pretty good track record. If you want to join our Discord, look in the description of this audio / video, and you can click on the word Discord or click on the link that's affiliated next to the word Discord, and it'll take you to an invitation where you can join us, where we talk about everything from anime to video games to music to whatever news. Yeah. Maybe you'll see some updates about COVID-19. I don't know. We don't want to talk about that though.
We stay positive on this podcast.
Hell yeah.
Except when I complain about everything, but you know.
Well, that's life. You gotta complain about something. We all do. Did I miss anything?
Nope. I think that's it.
Cool, y'all. Any closing words? Anything you guys want to talk about before we call it?
Please watch the Sonic the Hedgehog movie so it makes enough money for a sequel.
I think it already did make enough. I feel like I think we're already on the right track. Like,
I'm checking this right now.
This was like the highest grossing video game film.
Really?
It beat Detective Pikachu. I think we've already surpassed it. Yeah.
Get out of the way. Pokemon is bigger than Sonic though. That's the most surprising
Sonic
part.
is like barely anything now because all these shitty games.
It already beat Detective Pikachu, so yeah.
All right. Give me a number. How much do you think it made?
I want to say domestically or internationally.
Total. Everything. Total. So far.
I want to say it's made like 90.
Like, I want to say 100 million?
Jordan's closer. 273.
Fuck!
Wait, how much did it cost?
It cost $81 to $95 million to make.
Okay, so at least made its money back.
Yeah.
Because like you have to double for marketing, right?
Yep.
So okay.
And it's surprising because
so it's already making it already broke
It broke.
Yeah.
Yeah, it broke even. So
Dang. Yeah. This is
Alright.
crazy.
Alright.
yeah. Wait, how much did Detective Pikachu make? I want to see.
But you also have to weigh in the cost of it.
Yeah, that's true. So Detective Pikachu's budget was 150 million, more than Sonic,
Okay.
and it made 433 million so far.
That is not surprising because Detective Pikachu has more assets and more Pokemon that had to be
I
created.
think Pokemon's
Yeah.
more marketable.
Yeah. Whereas in Sonic, only one single character, so it makes sense
True.
that it's cheaper.
True. But I enjoyed Sonic. Did you watch it already? Mm-mm. You haven't? Okay. When you get a chance.
No, it's on my radar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like not breaking news. Well, breaking news to us. The James Marsden signed up for more sequels.
Hey.
So
Whoa, what about Jim Carrey? Did Jim Carrey sign up for more sequels?
he says he would like to expand on Robotnik in the future, so he's open to being in more sequels.
Okay.
It does not say if he signed on to any of them or not, but I enjoyed him as Robotnik.
I heard that all the characters, honestly, were very enjoyable in this movie.
Yeah, there wasn't anyone that I found annoying.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, there is a character that's annoying, but they're like a character who's supposed to be annoying. Like,
Okay,
there's this
for
nagging
sure.
character.
I
but,
see.
Yeah, like, she's fine.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay. Thank you both for
Thank you.
doing this. This is dope. We need to have more podcasts. Thank you all for listening to the 129th episode of Downtime Podcast. Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.